It is Wednesday night, January 31st, 2018. The San Jose Sharks have lost 4 games in a row for the first time this season. However, they did put up a good fight in a 2-1 loss in a shootout to the Detroit Red Wings on their first trip to Little Caesars Arena, otherwise known as the Pizza Oven. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
No?
Nope.
Not the Pizza Oven?
Nope.
Oh, whatever.
It's the Pizza Arena.
Pizza.
No. Or it's Arena. Or
Yeah,
my favorite, the Dojo.
They named it after a fish, folks. Nonetheless, welcome to Teal Town After Dark. We are your live and interactive Sharks post-game show. Nonetheless, if you want to be a part of the conversation, you need to be in our YouTube chat on the page or the app, or by all means, we'll take all your comments using the hashtag TealTownUSA. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, and the YouTube. With that being said, hello everyone. I am Eric Curry. You can always follow me at Puckeye14. And with me tonight, it is the triumphant return of Gentry Alexander. How are you feeling, bud?
A lot better than the Sharks tonight.
Alrighty. And also joining me, Mr. AJ Strong.
What's that?
What's up? Tough one to take on this game, but nonetheless, we got to talk about it like we do each and every game. So make sure you do us a favor, hit that subscribe button on the
social.
Yeah, on whatever. I mean, you might, especially on the YouTube. We appreciate it. We are over what 622. Love it. Like they would say in Nashville, they like it, they love it, they want some more of it, and so do we.
Never do that again.
Whatever. Shut up. All right. With that being said, we talk about this game. The game went back and forth. It was a quiet one, goal scoring wise, with the Detroit Red Wings outshooting the San Jose Sharks 12-11 in the first period. I thought both teams had great chances throughout the period, and I thought Jones kind of was getting into a rhythm tonight, Gentry.
Oh, yeah, it was a good step up, nice bounce back game from Jones. Too bad his defense didn't really help him out, and nor did everybody in front of him because, those 11 giveaways in the first period, they're going to eat you alive. And I'm not talking just 11 in the whole game. No, 11 in the first period alone. 7 of them coming from bullcrap behind the back passes. They need to fix this team. Like I'm not just talking a player or here. The whole team. They played like garbage tonight, and they were lucky to get a point from another garbage team.
AJ, what did you take from the first?
Well, let's see. Could not disagree with Gentry more. The Sharks won the face-off battle. They put 44 shots on what the hell's his name? Mazarek, whatever I hate trying to pronounce that guy's name. Mrazek. There you go. No, I'm not looking at this with the feels. Should the Sharks have won this game? Absolutely, but take into account certain things. Second of back-to-backs on the road is going to be tough. Jones getting his second start in a row. Yeah, he's rested. You can make a case that Jones likely should have had the dribbler. That's one you have to have. That the way that just dribbled by, that's tough. But I go back, 44 shots on goal. I mean, the Red Wings goalie, you got to give him props. The Sharks did have some good looks. Now, the power play, yeah, that was putrid tonight. Power play for the Sharks was absolutely putrid. Should the power play probably gotten at least 2 more chances? Yeah, there's something to be said for that as well. But, I mean, it is what it is. Welcome to life without Jumbo, kids. I mean, this is not. I said this on the Pucknologists the last episode that at this point, I don't know that this team. Actually, I don't think that this team, with how tight the Pacific is, I don't see the Sharks in the playoffs this season. Kids, the Central is too badass right now. The two wild cards are coming from the Central. So if the Sharks don't make top three, they're out, and they could very easily be out of the play, out of the top three after tomorrow.
Yeah, with the point they get to 60, so they do have 1 point over Anaheim and LA, and Calgary for that matter. It's just absolutely unbelievable to see what's going on playoff wise. Getting back into the second period, still no scoring there. The Sharks did manage to kind of get their game back a little bit, I thought, calm everything down. Although Detroit did outshoot them 13-9, I thought. I thought Jones had some great chances and great saves on hand. I thought the Sharks had some decent chances, but again, couldn't capitalize. And Mrazek was standing up to the task in this goalie duel. Third period comes along, and then you finally see something. But unfortunately, like AJ said, the dribbler that was from Trevor Daley, and it looked like to me, AJ, it seemed like they were kind of caught in the middle of the line change, and that kind of threw them off a little bit. And unfortunately, a dribbler gets in for Trevor Daley's fourth of the year from Nielsen at 6:48 to get the Red Wings on the board.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see that again. I go back to the fact that would be a nice one to have. Jones probably has that more often than not, but you go back to the fact of the Sharks put over 40 shots on net and only came away with a single goal. So to me, you can't put that on Jones. He let in one. Was it one he'd like to have back? Sure. But Detroit has a losing record right now. The Sharks should have won this game. And to hit a couple people on the chat, there's someone saying one of the comments I caught that says, "At least we're not Chicago." San Jose only has 2 more wins than Chicago, and Chicago plays in the the chasm. The gauntlet that is the Central. So the fact that Chicago has a winning record in that division is pretty impressive, and they only have 2 less wins again. And take into account, Chicago still has 2 games to play against San Jose. So at the end of the season, Chicago could very well have a better record than San Jose.
And taking into account that they don't have Corey Crawford.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's that.
They're still holding in there. It was the same way with the Ducks earlier in the season when they didn't have Ryan Getzlaf and Kessler in the lineup. And those are 2 guys that are huge in that lineup. And the Ducks were still hanging in there, just hovering around a playoff spot. They get those 2 back, and guess what? They're nipping at the heels of the Sharks. So the Sharks were fortunately, were able to get into like that second spot. And hopefully if they were able to maintain pace or at least maintain some type of streak, the Sharks would have had, more points and could have maintained that second seed. But no, they've wasted more than they should have. And now here we are. Other teams are catching up to the Sharks. And right now they're not looking good to maintain pace with the rest of the Pacific, unfortunately.
And at this point, there really are no games in hand. Literally, tonight was basically one of the games in hand with everybody else in the Pacific is off tonight. So this was a game in hand. Right now, games played, San Jose 50, LA 50, Calgary 50, Anaheim 51. So, yeah, okay, they have a game in hand on Anaheim, but there's one left in the season to play Anaheim. So Anaheim could actually make that up. But with 2 points separating 4 teams between second and fifth, just prepare yourself for the pain, people. As you can see, I already am, man. I'm telling you right now. I think it's going to be,
it's going to be 2015 all over again.
If it's Vegas, LA, and Anaheim, it would not surprise me. Anaheim is healthy now. We all know that they're a second half team. LA is just that team that just, it would be, that's so LA for them to.
And Jeff Carter starting to skate again.
Right? So you have that. I think Calgary had that little push for a brief while. I don't know that they can sustain that. So, maybe Calgary and San Jose try to. I mean, they're not even going to fight for a wild card. This is prepare yourselves, people. I don't see San Jose going to the playoffs this year unless something ridiculous, unless Doug Wilson pulls off one of his blockbuster magical trades like he did for Thornton or Boyle or Burns. We shall see. I can't imagine that happening with Tavares really being the only piece out there that anybody's chasing. So, which is, of course, is only going to drive the price up more. But prepare yourselves, people.
Yeah, no, it was rough, and it's going to be a bumpy ride here on out. Whether they go for playoffs or whether they are all in for all Darlene. But nonetheless, later in the
Arizona's getting that. Give me a break.
Hey, you know what? I'm just saying.
No, you're all wrong. It's Edmonton.
That's true. Edmonton will find a way to win the draft lottery again. But before
wouldn't surprise me if they only if they'll end up like trading somebody on their roster and like a in a future pick for that.
Jeez.
Ryan Nugent Hopkins.
Yeah, and a first rounder.
God. But getting into it, I think the goal from Daly, as we segue back into the game, kind of gotten the Sharks going again, and they really sustained pressure for a majority of the third period. Especially, it seemed like they had the pressure in their offensive zone for quite a while, and with 4:59 left in regulation, Kevin LeBanc deposits one with a wicked wrister, his 6th on the season in his 100th NHL game from Brendan Dillon. That's for you, Rocket. And Tomas Hertl at 15:01 gets the Sharks tied up at 1-1. Gentry, what do you think of money in the bank?
Well, it was the whole time the Sharks were trying to put shots through the slot, through traffic, trying to get those screenshots. But Detroit was doing an amazing job of blocking them and getting in the Sharks' way. This one happened to deposit itself in behind Mazarek, and yeah, good. You know what? It was good. It showed that the Sharks had some life, but just for a brief moment of time. It was the Sharks' trial run before you had to pay for the full-fledged thing.
And give it up for Dylan, the only Shark tonight that was +1 on the score sheet. Whereas last night, he was the only Shark that was over +2, being the only Shark, or I'm sorry, -2. He was the only Shark that was -3 last night. So I guess it's a wash.
Shot count, pretty much shot quality, as Teal City Crew says. Hello, Teal City Crew. Thanks for joining us tonight, too.
No, I've said that I don't know how many times, that just because you had 40+ shots on goal, they all could have been garbage. Whereas you could have 20 shots on goal and 10 of them were fantastic, good quality in the slot, got the goalie moving laterally, has to stand on his head. No, I completely agree with that. I mean, how many times have we seen the Sharks just take a ridiculous amount of shots on goal, but they're all low quality, from the point, the puck has to have eyes to like make its way through 5 different people. I mean, give me a break.
No, they're trying to go for the Warriors method. They're just trying to shoot for 3, but unfortunately 3-pointers don't exist in hockey.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking a pro beach hockey league that was going on in the 90s on ESPN. That's just putting that out there. Oh, man. But, yeah, so we go into overtime. Burns takes a hooking call.
And what a bad call that was.
Well, and they call those for their what many call the original 6 teams, but nonetheless the Sharks were on the penalty kill, and guys, let's give it up for the PK. 0 for 3 the Detroit Red Wings were tonight, and they only got 7 shots on goal for their 3 power plays. So tip of the cap to the PKers for getting their job done. However, as Gentry alluded to it, despite the great performance they put up against Pittsburgh last night, they were 0 for 2 in the power play with just 2 shots.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that the thing that needs to be said is that I don't know what's going on with this team right now. They're not playing a team game. They're not playing for each other. It just seems like they're trying out for other teams because they're expecting to be traded. I don't know what's going on in the locker room, and apparently Dover is just not coaching this team effectively. And the thing that's really been hassling me, with last night's game and tonight's game was all the turnovers that led to quality chances from the other team having more speed than the Sharks. Whether we saw the behind the back pass from Burns that led to Malkin's goal that tied it up, with 4 seconds left in, because it seems like the Sharks game is only good if it's a 40-minute game or something along those lines, because they aren't playing an effective 60-minute game. They show up when they feel like it. And honestly, it's too late in the season to figure out what it is you're trying to be, what your identity is. You've had, how many games are we in now? 50, 51?
Yeah, 50.
You've had more than half of the year to figure it out. If you can't figure it out, then you have to start making some changes, whether it's to the roster, whether it's to the coaching staff, because clearly this team right now is in an identity crisis. And maybe I think so, because it's been inconsistency all the way.
See, I have to totally disagree again, because to me, this team was actually starting to roll pretty well. I think they had won like 6 of the last 8 when Thornton was in the lineup, and it's just now Thornton being out. Now, of course, you've lost 3 in a row. At least tonight was a tight game, and it was one that the Sharks will look back on and say that's one where we should have got 2 points from. Obviously, last night versus Pittsburgh was just horrible. There's nothing you can do about that. But I mean, again, they have to learn. What does Edmonton look like without Connor McDavid? What does the Pittsburgh Penguins look like without Sidney Crosby? I mean, when you take literally your best player, the one that pretty much everything goes through, you take that person out of the lineup, you're going to have to make some adjustments. So,
fortunately for Pittsburgh, when Sidney Crosby's out of the lineup, they have Malkin who can carry the slack.
Well, now that goes on to also their drafting and development in Pittsburgh, which we won't get into right now for the Sharks.
No, I just think that right now that if it's coming down to Joe Thornton, why isn't Joe? If Joe Thornton is the guy that is carrying the team on his back, why doesn't he have the C on him?
Well,
just saying. I mean, they stripped it for a reason, and so if he's that heart and soul guy that and he's gonna make sure that the Sharks are gonna be winning all the way, and then he's out, and you start looking at the luck. You start looking at
hold on. Let me just. You basically. I'm saying that Thornton is the straw that stirs the drink, and you're saying why doesn't he have the C? And to that, my friend, I will say 2 words: Dustin Brown. Okay. He wore the C. Is he? Let's go. Everything. People get the C's for different reasons, my friend. Do we all think Rob Blake should have had the C?
No, that should have been
Dan Boyle.
Thank you. So again,
I think all 3 of us would agree on that.
Yeah. So again, hell, dude, when I got my jersey signed by him, when it was still in flux and it hadn't been announced, that was like my one question to him as he's signing my jersey. I'm like, "They make you captain yet?" He just kind of smirked a little bit and said, "No, not yet."
But no, I just think this team, it's kind of like the Sharks are grand opening because of all the giveaways they have, or the Sharks should be a bakery because of all the turnovers.
To me, guys, I think they've been with the fancy passing lately, and it was mentioned in the chat that they just seems to be
It's teams are
more too
figuring them
fancy.
out. No, teams are figuring them out.
Well, I mean, I think many teams have figured them out since the Cup final. I think that if they play a speed game, that you can take care of them. Unfortunately, but I just don't know. I just don't know. And to think that Joe Thornton, and no disrespect to him, but to think that he has that much of an effect on the team when he was on the verge of leaving in July. My goodness. I mean, this in that sense, it's where you're supposed to have the next man up, and they got these kids coming up early, likes of Timo, O'Regan, who didn't play tonight. We thought that he was going to get in the lineup since Timo was supposed to be out, but then Timo came back.
Historically, the Sharks have brought up guys too quickly.
Just ask Mirko Mueller. I mean,
dude, that's Mike Ratchey. Jeez.
That's true too.
I mean, there's a history there of bringing some guys up too soon. Do I think that they rushed Meyer LeBanc? I don't know that you can make a case that they did. Maybe you could have brought them in this season, but maybe you do Tim Heed only played one game last season. Yoki Ryan played no games last season. Now, obviously, Tim has not played a whole lot recently. Not sure why he's not factoring into the lineup. Not sure why PDB isn't considering dressing 7D and making Heed part of that third line, because certainly the fourth line, not doing a whole hell of a lot. I did think that they got some extra ice time early in this game. It seemed like I saw Goody Sorensen and Ward out there for a while, but I wouldn't mind seeing Heed out there as a seventh defenseman playing on that fourth line. And I mean, the kid's got a wicked slapper. I would consider taking that over Ward's slowness right now.
AJ, are you suggesting putting in a defenseman to forward?
You know what I mean when I say dress 7D, you asshole. You know what I'm saying.
Sorry. I had to put that out there.
You know what? And with that, can we talk about the all-time troll tweet tonight? This was pretty spot on. So for those of you who watch the Sharks with Randy and Bakes, you know that they're what is it? There was Remenda's, the keys to the game. Yeah, Hedikin's got them. Everybody's got the keys to the game. So in Detroit, they evidently put these keys to the game on their Jumbotron.
Yes.
And the first key to the game tonight in Detroit, it said, Brent Burns, make him play D. Now, clearly what that was stipulating was that keep him on the blue line. Don't let him activate. Keep him on the perimeter. Don't let him get inside. Make him just, be a defender. But what it said was Brent Burns, make him play D. And of course, the comment on top of that was, if the Sharks haven't been able to do it, I don't see how the Red Wings can.
That's true.
Great comment. I was like, okay. That's
and can we talk about Burns' blunder where he has all alone in the slot and he tries to pass to Hurdle, who doesn't have a stick in his hands?
That's not Burns' fault, though.
That was
right in the moment, he literally lost the stick a second earlier.
That was painful, though.
And if he has his stick, that's a score.
But that's not painful. It's like, oh my god, where did the stick go? Oh my god. Yeah, that was painful. We'll give kudos. I think it was in
and remember,
on one of Detroit's power plays where Vlasic broke up essentially an open net easy goal by stick checking the guy and got the puck cleared out. I mean,
that was on Zetterberg.
It was at Zetterberg. Yeah, I mean that was a great defensive play by Vlasic in the third period. I thought that was huge breakup there. to essentially save the game there for the Sharks.
Let's also not forget a year ago around this time, we were all talking, especially Rocket. We were talking about Burns for Vezina. Remember that? Dude was all around good dude. Maybe he's drunk on that $8 million deal, but I would like to see a bit more from him.
Is there a Norris hangover? Because maybe that's what he has right now.
Evidently, unless your name is Nicholas Lidstrom, there may in fact
be. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a toughie.
And Phantom 0044 saying, I love Burns, but damn, that's a long contract. And I could not agree with you more. It's so funny that we used to be able to count on Doug Wilson for a certain amount of things. One of those things was there would never be a contract longer than 5 years. And he's thrown that out the window. There was a couple other things. I used to know this. But,
and they would never go like above like 6 or 7 million.
That's going to happen with everybody eventually. I mean, I remember the big deal when Mike Ratchey got $2 million a year, 20 something years ago. So, I mean, everything that's, inflation, is a bitch, but the fact that Wilson, remember for the longest time, Doug Wilson would not use the word rebuild. And he finally did the year that we got John Scott. So it was always, reset, refresh, never rebuild.
Reboot.
So he's opened himself up to at least the idea of trying something new. Oversigning guys, unfortunately, is one of them. I thought he signed Martin. I thought Martin's deal was a year too long. I thought Bodker's deal was a year too long. I thought Dylan's deal was a year too long. And I also think, Rocket was going to kill me. But again, show me the guys in the NHL that are playing 5-6 that are getting over $3 million a year. You don't see that unless you're playing for the Sharks.
They're all playing for the Red Wings.
Well, not anymore.
I mean, you got Trevor Daley, you've got DeKaiser, you got Cronwall.
And there it is. Suck it, AJ. I knew it was coming. And can we just have a little bit of fun with subtitles? I tweeted it out on the Teal Town Twitter earlier. But if you ever turn on subtitles when there's a sporting event, a comedy can ensue. There is a huge opportunity for comedy right there. And so tonight, what's the gentleman's name for Detroit? Athanasiou? Athanasiou. Okay. Yeah. Every time Randy Hahn said Athanasiou, I see on the subtitles it says happy to see you. Funniest thing, it would be like Larkin, happy to see you, shoots. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Go check the Teal Town USA Twitter. I put up a screen cap. It's just fun. The other point too being that the Detroit Red Wings have themselves a player whose last name has no vowels, just FRK. And there was a point tonight where FRK missed a wide open net and was probably saying a word that started with F and ended with K, but there was a vowel involved in that word, my friend.
I was going to say, I wonder if Athanasiou's actually shopped at Safeway and didn't get a chance to play for the $1 million score in one game. I just put that out there. No, kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Kidding. So with that, we'll go over the final stats of this game. Detroit outshot the Sharks 44-31. So Joner with 43 saves on the night. Face-offs, the Sharks won that face-off battle 53-47. Both teams go 0-for on the power play. As Gentry alluded to, 16-5 in the giveaways in favor of the Sharks. Block shots were actually even 13 apiece for both teams. The Red Wings out-hit the Sharks 32-19. The only goal by Kevin LeBanc on the Sharks side from Hurdle and Dilly. Trevor Daley with the only goal from Franz Nielsen. So quiet on the score sheet through the night. Mrazek makes 30 of 31 saves in regulation and overtime. Joner with 43 saves, as we said. A decent night. Could have been better. Could have been worse. But nonetheless, the Sharks do lose 2-1 to the Red Wings.
And we're talking about stat sheet stuff for a second here. Let me also just point out that the Sharks had Goodrow at under 8 minutes, Sorensen at under 7 minutes, Ward under 12 minutes. Meanwhile, the Red Wings only had one person under 12 minutes tonight, and that was Tyler Bertuzzi, his game lacks punch when compared to his uncle. If you understand what I'm saying. But I think that is important to note, because you could see something like that if Detroit got up early in this game. So you're going to play the bigger lines. You're going to give them some more minutes that you take away from the fourth line. But tonight, that was not the case. Trevor Daley didn't get on the board until almost 7 minutes into the third. So the fact that the Sharks' third line was used that sparingly, again, I think goes to speak volumes of the lack of talent on this Sharks team right now.
Agreed. I think they don't have the depth. And what is the point if Yannick Hansen is going to be in your doghouse? Why don't you just find a home for him sooner or later? Because guys like that need to be moved if they're not going to be used.
And funny you mentioned that.
Jeff Patterson, baby.
Our good friend of the show, Jeff Patterson, mentioned that. He tweeted out. Let me see if I can get his.
It was essentially kind of a tweet that covered his stats and was basically kind of like an how the mighty have fallen. I don't think anybody's referring to Yannick Hansen as mighty. And of course, why I'm saying this, the only reason why I'm doing it is because I was vamping for, Eric to post this.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, hard to believe the decline here. Wouldn't have believed if you told me it would have go sideways so quickly. And basically,
0 goals, 4 assists, 4 points.
And how many points did he have last season when he was brought in?
Ooh, boy. I don't happen to have that in front of me, buddy.
Well, we'll have to look that up, because something tells me it wasn't a great one. So so I did mention this on the Twitter machine, and I was hoping to get some answers from it, but
just to let you know, 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points as he had went. That's what he had coming in from Vancouver to the Sharks. And with the Sharks last season, 2 goals, 5 assists, which gave him a solid 20 points on the year. However, the previous year, 38 points. The year before that, 33 points. So not so great.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good at all.
Hansen, you suck. You are the new Tyler Kennedy. Yeah, that's right. I went there.
But it's okay, because at least Tyler Kennedy has a cup.
Oh,
true that.
Oh,
and he has one of 2 nostrils that he can fit it in.
Jeez, yes.
Dude, man, TK's got it, dude. That guy's got a schnoz, dude.
Oh man. All right.
That dude can hold no more barbecues because his grill is fucked up.
Wow.
Thank you, Rocket.
You two are on a roll. Might as well name you like Dinner and Cinnamon, because you guys are on a roll tonight. Jeez. So I did mention on the Teal Town Twitter tonight as to your favorite moments, because this is the rarest time now that we get to see Detroit play the Sharks, and with so much history in the past, I thought it'd be nice to reminisce a little bit as to your favorite moments.
Baker.
Easily just Bake Skull.
Bake Skull. Dude, it's always going to be Bake Skull. Or, favorite moment, Sharks versus Detroit. I do have a very vivid memory. Vivid that I remember where I was, and I remember we were playing Detroit, and I remember it was in the playoffs. I can't remember what year it was. I'm sure you'll probably tell me after I give you the details. All I know that I was in a sports book with my best friend. We went to Vegas or to Tahoe for the weekend to gamble. I think that we must have went up for a concert, but we're hanging out in the sports book, and there was, again, it's very much kind of like how hockey is treated here, where there was like basketball on every gigantic screen in our face. There was even like a couple boxing matches, horse race. There might have been a WWE thing happening. And yet we're like going, okay, hey, on this little table over there, table 22, on our little like 13-inch screen, can we get a goddamn hockey game over here? Would that be okay with you people? It is, the playoffs after all. And so anyway, we were able to watch that. And then finally there was a couple other people who showed up and they started putting it on the big screens. But it was, from what I remember, it was, it was either to take the lead or it was an overtime, but it was just the goal that Marlowe scored on one knee.
Oh, that was
game five. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the one. And in fact, the reason why I also remember that is I think I put like $50 on Detroit to win that game, with the whole premise being that I will win either way. I am more than happy to pay $50 for the San Jose Sharks to win this game. And if they lose, I double my money. That was the way I was looking at it.
So game 5, well, besides Baker, game 5 against Detroit in 2010.
Yeah.
Jen, what was your favorite moment in the Sharks Red Wings rivalry before they decided to go east?
You know what? It's going to be a year before that. It was a January 17th game.
Yes.
It was just a regular season game, but it featured some of the most. I think me and Eric quote this game quite often. We all remember that Filppula couldn't catch Milan Mahalik. Patrick Marleau makes it 6-4. And Boyle got a very key first goal. I mean, it wasn't a defensive battle whatsoever. It was the Sharks would score, then the Red Wings would answer back, and then somebody kept. It was always just this tennis match, and it was absolutely fantastic to watch. And it's like one of the just you can look up the highlights on the thing on YouTube. It's highlight reel, and it's. And it brings back all those great memories when Jonathan Chichu was on the team.
Yeah, no, you hit it right on the head. That was one of the best regular season games, I think, in Sharks history, because it was just a great match going back and forth. It was, just craziness, to me, of course, the 94 series is going to be the memory of it all. I remember game 4, Sharks and Red Wings. Urbe had a horrible giveaway. They were down 3-1, and then they came back to tie it in that second period, and then Larionov with a nice thread the needle pass to Makarov to tip it in. That was a great one. But game 7 in 2011. I mean, my goodness, that was a crazy game. Marleau gets his only point of the series after being called out by JR. Gutless. And one of the other things too is that the shift or two after that, Datsuk with the unbelievable rocket backhander. I know. Ironic. Totally ironic. You can look it up. That was an unbelievable play. But there have been so many.
Nemo should have still had that.
Yeah. That was a tough one, but
oh my God, do not poke the Nemo bear.
No. Alex Martinet is about to jump on any second now. We're not going to do that.
I'm going to sit here and massage my pussy to relax.
Wait, is it going to be one of those things where if I say that goaltender's name?
No, just don't, Jen. No.
Do we face Montreal anytime soon?
No, I think we're done for the year with Montreal.
I'm pretty worried though that in the next week or so somebody might Cam Ward that bitch.
Hey-o. All right. While AJ tends to Kayla, we will do the NHL wraparound.
Reach around.
Oh God, whatever. It was a small slate of games, only 3 games on the night. So of course the Sharks lost 2-1 in the shootout to the Red Wings. Up in Toronto, boy howdy!
All this talk about a Sharks goalie tonight. Listen to this, kids.
Thomas Greiss allows 5 goals to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Kapanen, Matthews, Marner. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Just in case he's watching, because I don't want to get it. I do not want to get it wrong. Let's see on my wonderful.
Oh, nobody cares. Thomas Greiss took the loss. And that lazy bastard Jonathan Tavares that we're all hoping we get didn't do a damn thing tonight. Lazy bastard.
He's saving it up for when he goes to the when he comes to the Sharks, right?
Oh, I figure Edmonton was getting him.
Oh, jeez.
Don't they get everything?
You're all wrong. It's going to be St. Louis.
St. Louis actually would be a good spot for him, to be quite honest.
God, Rocket, I love you so much. Jesus Christ.
In Washington, the Capitals beat the Flyers 5-3. The Flyers came out strong early in the first with 2 goals in the first from Patrick and Konechny. But then the Caps came back with a 3-goal second, 2 from Stevenson, 1 from Burakovsky. Of course, in the third period, Oshie and Smith-Pelly finish it off as Holtby gets the win for the Caps.
Pit smelly.
So that brings you up to the standings right now as of this moment. Let me screenshot there. I know Knights of the Round Table is about to enjoy this moment. In the Pacific Division, the Vegas Golden Knights are at 70 points. They match the Anaheim Ducks and the Florida Panthers for most wins by an expansion team, with 33 last night out of a crazy come from behind victory over the Calgary Flames. So they're at 70. The Sharks pick up a point. They're at 60. LA is at 59. They now have the same amount of games as the Sharks do. In the Central, the Jets are at 68, Nashville at 65. They're also tied with St. Louis at 65.
But games in hand, my friend.
Games in hand, indeed. Nashville has 4 games in hand on St. Louis, and 3 games on Winnipeg.
Like it. They're gonna love it. They're gonna want some more of it.
Could we never do that again?
Oh no, that's gonna keep going until they eventually win the cup.
Oh God,
I hate country music.
And hey, Mike Fisher's apparently coming back.
Oh, good for him.
So Mike
Fisher!
Doesn't he like bang a celebrity or something?
If you mean his wife, Carrie Underwood, yes.
Is that who it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. He's coming. Wow. Which no.
Predators games.
Let me put. Okay, so guys, it's a good point here. Mike Fisher's coming out of retirement, right? So
Yes.
What this does is this really drives home the point of no matter how hot she is, eventually you will get sick of her shit. Just saying.
Alex says he's got Underwood. Oh, wow.
Rocket, the asshole thought they'd be washed up this year, so he quit. Now he sees they don't suck, and guess who's thirsty?
Oh, man. Jeez. Continuing on with the wild card.
Can we just have Rocket join for the reach around?
She can jump in whenever she wants to.
Come on, Rock.
Dallas is at 60. They hold the first wild card. Minnesota's at 59. So is Anaheim. So you have it up here. Calgary at 58. Chicago at 55. I mean, I'm
telling you, dude.
Guys,
both wild cards are coming out of the Central.
I mean, this is a crazy standings. First of all, nobody picked Winnipeg and Vegas to lead the divisions in the Western Conference. And you know what? Kudos to them
Look at these goal differentials. All in the Central. Uh-oh, hold on. Rocket's got to find a wig. She'll be on in a second. And I'll be right back.
Okay. So, but Jen, I mean, Winnipeg and Vegas, unbelievable. I mean,
when you're gift wrapped a team like Vegas got, and eventually impatience paid off with developing your young players. That Winnipeg had the talent and the skill that was there. They gave them the time and were patient with them, and now it's paying dividends. Like, I feel like right now that Winnipeg is maybe just a move away from being a surefire, like, hey, we are a legit cup contender. Maybe it's a defenseman, or maybe it's just a depth that, at center that they need. Or, you know what? They've been doing this well without Scheifele. So maybe it's just all they got to do is wait for Scheifele to come back, and then just watch the offense just grow, because Holloway has been amazing, and talk about, a Hart nominee, in my opinion, is Blake Wheeler. So
yeah, I mean, shoot, I mean, Blake Wheeler is getting some talk for the Hart. I mean, don't forget Line, but yeah, I think Scheifele's going to be like their trade deadline acquisition. I wouldn't change too much with the Jets, to be honest. I mean,
there was rumors coming out of the All-Star break that after the Thornton injury, that the Sharks were desperate need of a forward, and with Jacob Trouba out for 6 to 8 weeks, that they would be a Sharks Jets, West Side Story type of trade. And I was like, please, here's Braun.
But the thing, the Trouba is a defenseman himself, so it'll be interesting to see what they would do in that sense. I mean, Trouba's been, he originally said he wanted out, then he stayed back, but I don't know. I don't think Winnipeg makes any moves. I don't think Vegas makes any moves. They have too much, backstock in AHL Chicago right now that they're more than fine.
Can I just make at least one kind of observation and say that I am terribly, terribly, terribly disappointed that the flowers behind Rocket are not teal?
Sorry, they're for a headdress that I'm working on.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Miss Rocket Backhander.
Hello.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I bet you Laurel feels better for that too.
Hold on. Let me get the teal flowers then, jerk.
Sure. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Oh, look at it. She said screw it and said turned off her camera and everything.
Turn off my camera. I left. Yeah. Me here. You guys there. Hello.
See you guys.
I'm going home. Okay, there. Is that better?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Oh, gosh.
Well, hello.
Well, hello. Happy belated. It's been a while since we've seen you.
Thank you.
Lovely face.
Yeah, it's been busy over here in Nashland. Very busy.
Is it still snowing there?
No. We had a heat wave. It was 62 degrees. It was almost, and today it was in the 60s, and it got down into the 20s tonight.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It's like there's no moon.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as climate change, so just deal with it.
No. Also, traffic laws here are not enforced at all. As long as you don't speed, they will not pull you over. You could be shooting heroin while you're driving, and they won't. They'll just be like, hey, y'all all right in there? Okay. And just keep going. Like, they will not pull you over. Traffic laws are a joke in this town.
That's not something to joke about. It's very difficult using a needle in a moving car. I'm just saying.
It is. It's true.
Yeah. That's why I smoke it.
Okay. Oh, of course.
Wow.
We're all kidding, people. Sense the sarcasm. Wow. Sense the humor.
Embrace the sarcasm.
Just say no, kids.
I came on here to listen to you guys talk about Sharks, not promote.
Now you guys talk about other shit that I don't care about.
Gosh, it's like
welcome to the reach around.
Mainlining tequila.
You guys are talking about, you guys are like Hockey Central at noon.
This is the first time I ever actually let my kid watch the show since it was an early game, and this is what you do. No.
It's really not what I think.
We are definitely not for children.
Yes. Dang, AJ, you've been hiding a kid this whole time.
What?
Oh my god! You said you let your kid.
You know what I'm talking about. Yes, this is it. This one.
Kayla!
Hi,
Right
Kayla.
This one right here. Oh yeah.
Hi, Kayla.
Oh yeah.
Oh, jeez.
For those of
Alright.
you listening on the
Rushed.
podcast, AJ just flashed his pussy.
Hey now.
One of several.
Come here, Chip.
Just be like, what, huh? Okay.
Oh man.
Yay.
So I wanted to, before we get out of here, I wanted to talk to you because since John Tavares has been like a running theme, I think this whole off season, or the off season, regular season, although our season has been off for sure. How John Tavares' holding pattern is impacting the trade deadline. If you have a subscription to The Athletic, you take a look at the article by Craig Custance. And he makes a lot of great points in the sense that, you know, there's a possibility that the trade deadline could be a dud just because everybody's waiting on what John Tavares is doing.
Yeah.
Well, I think we could see some, little moves, little things here and there. Somebody shoring up a fourth line, somebody getting a 5-6 D man that's kind of under the radar that doesn't get moved for very much. Somebody basically kind of like trying to offload a contract in a smaller deal. I think you'll see some stuff like that. I don't believe that there will be any blockbusters. Am I the only one who just kind of like looks at Rocket's background like an old Wheel of Fortune where I'm like, okay, for $20 I'll take that, and for like it literally looks like the prize exhibit for like when you like pop the balloon at a carnival. You're like, yeah, on the second shelf, give me that one.
Oh my god.
And like that, we are officially off the rails.
We were never on the rails to begin with.
Thank you.
Oh,
And Phantom.
What are we, Jared Stoll?
Phantom in the chat.
oh!
Phantom in the chat saying, I don't think JT is going anywhere, and I completely agree with him. I don't think Tavares is, and I don't think Evander Kane is going anywhere either. The guy has the, somebody's going to have to come along. They're going to end up overpaying, or something's going to happen, because right now Evander Kane has the rep of a cancer, and no. Look at what Doug Wilson, how much overpayment he does for somebody who has a good IQ, despite, to say nothing of, being good in the room or not being good in the room. The fact that Kane has that rep, I honestly, I think it's a lot of speculation for not. I don't think any of these guys are going anywhere. Any of these quote unquote big name guys. I think it's going to be a very quiet deadline.
For me, it's like you look at what the Buffalo is asking for Kane. They want a first round pick, a roster player, a prospect, and then a conditional pick. That's 4 pieces for one for a guy, like how you said, is a cancer in the locker room.
And when you go back, Joe Thornton, we traded 3 pieces for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want all that? Get the hell out of here.
And that's kind of the Matt Duchene-esque type of deal.
I like Rob's comment. Maybe we see Tavares for Kane.
Oh, jeez.
That would be awesome. That would be great.
Excuse me for one moment, though. For $25, I'll take the Martin Jones bobblehead. Let's see here. For
$800, I'll take the Sharky bobblehead.
Yeah.
And for
120, I'll take the Hockey Queen patch.
And for $410, I'll take the Northern California flag, and I'll put the rest on the service merchandise gift certificate.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. There's our Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, hold on. Can I see the drink coaster, please?
Oh, jeez.
On the second shelf.
While they're doing that, I'm gonna go find my gallbladder. I'll be back.
Oh, that is. I didn't realize you had one of those. Is that one of those stone ones?
This is actually one of my goodies from The wine sampling debacle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, let me know. We may
That's-
have to work out a deal for something. I will have
That's
to,
coming up in March.
have to find something.
I believe Teal City Cruise having a fundraiser on February 6th.
A fun what? So to raise money so he can go to the damn thing? What are we talking about?
No.
How rude.
Fair
No.
question.
It's for the group to get things going. I know they're also doing a road trip out into Vegas. So
Rob in the chat, holy God, did Puck Guy just say service merchandise? Yes, he did. Because you know why? When he asked for that card, Gemco had already closed,
no,
as did Best.
no, but on Wheel of Fortune, when they did do the shopping, if you had leftover cash, you either had to put it on account or service merchandise gift certificate.
Yeah. No, the thing that always used to just get me just made me giggle, where it would just the prices when they would do the panorama of all the gifts on various levels and everything like that. But the prices where it would be like, for $150, I'll have the toaster. And, you know, I mean, just like the prices were, you know, it was like, for $50, I'll take the Flex straw.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
$107 Dalmatian.
Have
Anyways,
fun.
nonetheless, we've gone off the rails. So let's tie a bow on this thing.
Mike Fisher can say.
What'd she say?
I don't know. She
You AOL'd when you said that.
Mike Fisher can suck it.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Mr. Alexander, it's good to have you back. I hope you do not have your I hope you don't have your gallbladder in your room. That would be horrific. But
No, I just had the gallstones.
oh yeah, no, I actually hold the gallstones, and that wasn't fun. Gentry, where can the
So
people
really
find you?
Bad episode of Friends.
You could find me on Twitter atjalexander46, Instagram as well. You could find me on eBay at the same username. I'm selling an authentic Sharks Heritage jersey at the moment.
Oh,
So
sounded like you were selling yourself. You can find me on eBay.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, you just have to pay for the shipping and handling.
Oh, I don't know what you're handling, but okay.
Gallstones apparently.
Poor guy. Well, I'm glad you're recovering well, and last week was a nightmare for him, but good to have you back, bud. Mr. AJ Strong, where can the people find you?
At AJ_Strong on Instagram and on Twitter. Also partaking along with Miss Rocket Backhander to maintain the Tealtown USA Instagram. So check that out as well. And as always, at Tealtown USA on the Twitter machine. My final thought, no one likes a wet D. So hang it out there to dry.
Jeez.
And if you have to listen to the pucknologists to know what I mean.
Yeah. Miss Rocket Backhander, hi, my dear. I've missed you.
Hello. It's lovely to be here.
Absolutely. Could you tell the lovely
sounds like it's Dame Rocket Backhander.
Not quite. Getting there. Yes, getting there. Haven't quite gotten to the level. I'm still working towards lady. I'm somewhere in the female category right now. I'm getting there, though. Perhaps next year.
Oh, can I get a little JFK on your way out?
Oh, no.
Rob in the chat asking me if the gallstone is for sale. Yes. It's gonna be
at the right price.
At the right price.
Oh,
I'm currently trying to get it autographed by Brent Burns. I'm going to try to get it autographed by Brent Burns.
There you go.
Because who doesn't want to clone a tall hockey fan with gallstone problems?
Yeah.
Jeez. Rocket, where can the people find you?
JFK, please.
You can find me hanging out on the Twitter machine. Now that they have more than 120 characters, I feel free to express myself and my patriotism. These guys, they're trying that. They're dying. Okay. You can
laugh this hard.
Twitter at capital BAckhand76. And you can also see my pictures of Nashville, Tennessee, even though I am a Sharks fan. Check it out on Instagram, Rocket Backhand, one word. Ask not what your Instagram can do for you, but what you can do for your filters.
I'm telling you, dude.
And ladies and gentlemen,
That's-
Backhander
This,
saving the show.
my friend, this, my friend, is the reason why the Sharks have not won a game, because they don't have Rocket in there saying, you know, I don't know why I sound like JFK, but I'm going to be real motivating for your ass.
No, if Pete went in there and did like a good JFK motivational speech, dude, the boys would go out there and roll hard for 60 minutes and just just win. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
I put it in Maryland, for Christ's sake. You can't put it in the net.
Oh man.
When did you go all Irish on me?
You know what it is? It's from all the dude. You don't know how. For 10 years I worked at an Irish nightclub, and the owner. Oh my god! You know how I found out how to do an Irish accent is you literally say everything as if it's a question.
True.
That's pretty much it. So I can go. So I can see Gentry, yeah. It's like everything's a question. The Sharks had an awful power play. See, you just put a question in at the end of it. That's all it is.
That's Northern Ireland.
Oh, like I give a shit.
Oh, Sandbar Sarvis, it's turning green over here.
Okay, we need to get back into JFK. I'm sorry.
Slancha.
Oh, God.
I'm
I'm Eric Curra. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at PuckGuy14. We will be back with you on Friday following the Sharks and the Neon Buggers. I mean the Columbus Blue Jackets, and it should be quite an interesting game. First match of the year between the Sharks and the Blue Jackets, and yes, that was me snorted. I'm sorry. That was just priceless. But we will be back with you following Sharks and Blue Jackets. And then, of course, we will be here for Super Puck 52 on Sunday afternoon. So with that, for Rocket, Gentry, AJ, the whole crew, I am Puck Guy 14. Keep it real. Keep it teal. Keep it real teal. And you have a good night, everyone.
moist.